Hey y'all, how are you? Welcome back to Southern Charm Wreaths. Let me open this up so I can see comments on our videos. Here it is. I hope everybody is having a wonderful, wonderful day. So we got YouTube is over here working too. Yay. Okay, let me get my question and comments up. Welcome back, y'all, to our channel. I'm Julie Samako, owner of Southern Charm Wreaths, where we teach you the art of wreath making and faux floral designing. Today, we're going to be making a sunflower arrangement. If you are interested in making the very same arrangement that I'm making, I'm going to go ahead and link in our kit. This kit is brought to you by Trendy Tree. So let me pin this right there, and on YouTube we have pinned it on the chat so you can get the link there. And I would like to thank Trendy Tree for supplying this kit to our followers. It's just a quick link. Everything's included. You don't have to think about it, and you can just check out. So let me show you everything that you get in your kit. Let me put the camera angle down just a little bit. So this is what we have. First, we have our arrangement container. This is a tapered rustic, and it's about, let's see, what does this measure out? So it's 6 inches square, but I like that this has got a very rustic look to it. So this is really pretty. So this is inside of your kit. I went ahead and added desert foam in this one just to get us prepared. But if you don't know how to prepare your container, we've got instructions for that on our blog at southerncharmwreaths.com, and we also have instructions on how to prepare a container on our YouTube channel. But southerncharmwreaths.com, and just search how to prepare a container. It teaches you exactly what to do to get this ready. But we have 2 sunflower sprays, which are really pretty. Now, sunflowers are beautiful year-round, so you can use these. This is a pretty year-round look, or you can make it more fall. It's completely up to you, but I like that sunflowers, you know, they come in all different colors. In fact, let me show you this one that we did in our Wreath Making of the Month Club group yesterday. Look at this one. So this one is burgundy flowers. And they're sunflowers. So I love that look, you know, with sunflowers. It's just so versatile. So you could do orange, or you can do burgundy, or you can do cream. Yellow obviously is very popular. So that's really pretty. All right, so here is our sunflowers. We've got 2 sprays of those. Good morning, everyone. Yep, it's still morning here, and good afternoon if you're in another location. And then we've got a really pretty berry filler, and we've got a couple of greeneries. So if you are in our Wreath Making of the Month Club group, you know how I feel about multiple greeneries, okay? So we want multiple types of greenery for texture. Texture is one of the important aspects that you should put in all of your wreaths or your arrangements in order to give it more of a realistic look, as well as to add interest and contrast. All right, so we've got the white here and the white here, but this little bit of dark green is going to add a little more contrast, and it's going to bring in a little more depth and hopefully dimension it to our arrangement. And then we also have this greenery, which has the blade grasses as well as little berries inside of it. And so just adding all of these together just gives it a lot more texture to your arrangement. This will also add a lot of texture. And then you have the inside of your sunflowers with a bunch of texture as well. So these are very authentic and realistic looking, but they are all fake, so you don't have to worry about watering them. All right, so let me go ahead and move this out of the way. I'm first going to work with the grass, and I believe the sunflowers. Hello, we've got everybody coming in on YouTube. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am going to pull out my trusty turntable for this arrangement so that I can look at all sides, as well as show you around a little bit better too. Over to the right, I have my glue. It is melting. I've just taken some glue sticks and I've thrown them in my electric fry pan, and it melts my glue. So if you see me dipping anything, I'm dipping it over in the glue. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start taking some of this grass off. I don't know if I'm going to use all of the greenery, but I do like to mix it up, so that's why I always choose 3. That is sort of my rule of thumb, 3. Minimum of 3. Obviously, you can do more. And another trick I show our Wreath of the Month Club group is if you need a little more shaping to your grasses, take the back of your scissors and then just give it a little bend just like that, and it'll just give a little more curl. All right, here is one grass this was the longest one in the container, or in the on the, let me move that up a little bit. Hopefully you can see a little bit better. And then I may need to do it a little bit more because this is going to be a somewhat taller arrangement. Okay, so we've got this little grass that I went ahead and gave a little bit of bend in the base of it, so that kind of opens up that flowiness of it. And I'm going to dip it in my glue and just pop it right here in the center. Now, if you don't have the glue pot, you don't need this. If you're making this at home for your own home decor, just a glue, you know, you don't even have to glue if you don't want to, or you can use a glue gun. Like, what is the name of that thing? All right, so now this is a little bit long, so I'm going to go ahead and just take some of this grass off. All right. So we've got a centerpiece up here, and then we're just going to create that, we're just going to do a little grouping of grass. So I'm going to go ahead, maybe I'll do that a little bit, let's go ahead and do it a little bit longer. I mean, a little shorter. There we go. A little bend. And we'll do another one. Arrangements, I think, can be intimidating. So hopefully you'll get a little inspiration from this video and not be so afraid to just start making your own. I am, you know, self-taught. Hopefully it won't be evident of this video of how this turns out. And when I'm the same as you, is whenever I start an arrangement, I feel just a little unsure because I just don't do so many. Like, I do so many wreaths, and they just come very natural to me after all the years. And then the arrangements, I'm usually making them for my own home, and I don't even think about things. I just make it pretty the way I like it. But I want to encourage you to just try your own arrangements at home. I showed our Wreath of the Month Club group a peek inside of my home and where I've placed all of the arrangements that we've made over the summer. And it's just amazing how we can use the artificial flowers to make our home warm and inviting. I mean, I don't know about you, but flowers just make me happy. And I love that we don't have to water these. All right, so here I'm just fluffing and bending. Right, you want to just bend, bend and bend, bend and bend. Just give a little bit of a curvature or a shape to it. And let me go a little bit of shaping of our blades. All right, and then I'm going to put that on this side right here. I want to make sure we have some spacing right there. And this will be probably the last one that I'm going to add in this grouping and somewhat in the center. And if you can see, so we've started with our centerpiece that we added right there, and then we added these 2 other ones on either side of it. All right, so there's that. And that's sort of what I'm doing all the way around, but I am taking out the longest stem on these, the longest blade of grass on these for the ones that we're putting around the center. So the one in the center is the only one so far that we kept long. Okay. Again, I want to thank Trendy Tree for providing you guys with a kit in order to duplicate this exact arrangement. All right, so I'm just using the container comes in the kit, and I am using floral or desert foam. All right, so now that we've got that added, I've got still 2 more pieces of grass on this bush that I can save for another project. And I've got these little pieces over here that I'm just gonna save in case I need to fill in. All right, so we're gonna put that over there. I'm gonna move on to my sunflowers, which also come in the kit, and I'm gonna move this over. And so when you get all of your materials, they're gonna have like these cellophane bags on top of them to help protect them during shipping. And what you want to do is take that off and then take some time in order to shape. So a lot of times people are asking me, well, how come my sunflowers don't look you know, real? So if you look at these sunflowers, they obviously do not look real, but if you take a look at some that we've already taken the time to give a little shape, you can see they look a little more authentic. All right, so let me show you how I do that when I'm shaping. So always shape your flowers, no matter what project you're using them in. And I like to look at, I don't know if you're an avid gardener. I'm not an avid gardener by any means. It's hard for me to keep anything alive that's, you know, green and alive. But I do look at photos of flowers, and I like to see how they look. So you can always go online if you're looking for a more authentic look, but just keep in mind, this is your arrangement. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be, you know, correct that you would see in nature. I think you should just try it, and just don't be afraid making changes. Anything can be readjusted. You can always reglue, lengthen a stem. We had to do that in our Wreath of the Month Club group yesterday, or the day before yesterday. So you can always extend or shorten or whatever. Just make it your own. Don't be afraid. It doesn't have to be perfection. We're not looking to be Martha Stewart's here. We are looking to have just beautiful flowers in our home to make our mood, just to change and uplift our mood, okay? So you can see how we just take the time to fluff that, and you could see it looks a lot more authentic now, doesn't it? All right, what I want to do is I think I'm going to start on the base with my largest flower. All right, so how am I going to cut this? Let's see, this one has got a long, I might want this one on the top. So when I trim my stems, I'm looking at how am I going to make the cut. If I know I want this one to be a little bit taller than everything else, I want to make sure that this stem right here is the longest. And so I'm going to trim off the ones beside it. Let's do this one. Okay, so let's look at what we've got now. All right, so we've trimmed, I meant to trim this one a little longer, but we'll be fine. All right, so here is the largest one, and I'm going to, perfect example, we'll be fine, I'll show you how we fix it. All right, so here I'm going to go ahead and trim, I'm going to trim this one above that leaf. Now these leaves can be used, we can put them in as filler, so don't get rid of them. We're going to use them some way, somehow. And at first I'm going to position, let's see, where do I want the front of my container to be? Do I want it to be flat, or do I want it to be on an angle? I think I want it to be flat. All right, so I'm going to take my flower and I'm going to put it in. And, all right, we've got that one in right now. And now I want one to come off a little bit higher than that one. So maybe right here. Okay, but that's really pretty position. We've got our spacing. But I want it to be, you know, I've got to insert it into the foam about 1 inch, and I've cut it a little bit too short. So you can use a wooden floral pick. I'm going to go ahead and trim off a little bit more, and then add my metal pick just for time's sake. And we're going to go ahead and add this right above it. All right, so it's right there. We've got that spacing, as you can see right here, and now we're off to the races. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this one, but let me see how tall I want it first. If you're looking for a way to figure out the length or the height of what you want to cut, take your arrangement to the side of the table and then visually place it. So I'm moving it down the table and up. I can move this up and down so I can visually see the location of where I want it to be placed. And then I'm going to remember that I need to insert it about 1 inch into the greenery, cut on an angle in order to get a point using your wire cutters. All right, let's see where we want this guy. Let's get this grass out of the way. See the curvature in our floral. And this one is like, I need to open up, so I'm going tall, growing closer to the sun. I'm going to go ahead and take off this leaf right here because it's crowding. And let's see if that helps. That's pretty. I'm going to go ahead and take off this other bottom leaf. It's crowding. I think we're good with the height. Let's see. Again, nothing is permanent. We can always redo. Okay, I think I like that. So we've got some spacing happening with our flowers, and now let's move on to our other stem. All right, so now that I've got that here, I want to mirror what we have in the front to what we're going to have in the back. All right, so let me see. This is the one I needed a little length to, so let me go ahead and cut the larger one off and get this one situated. Remember, we're cutting let's go ahead and just cut these leaves off the bottom. Put those to the side. And now I think I want this one to go just a little bit deeper into the arrangement. Or do I want this to come over to the side? Play around with it and make it your own. I think I want it to go just slightly deeper, so we're going to go ahead and trim that off, and we're going to go right on the opposite side of where we have our first large sunflower, and push this one down just a little bit further in. So it's on the back side. Maybe that's a little too much. There we go. It's on the back side, but it's not exactly even Steven with the one in the front. It's nestled just a little bit deeper, okay? And so now what we're going to do is we're going to incorporate the second one, which is the second one that's a little bit larger opened flower. And I want to put that one on this side. Go ahead and put a stem. Get a little more length on this one. Okay, and I'm just looking at all of my flowers. Don't want them to be on the same plane. Oh, I touched the grass with the glue. Try not to burn yourself. Let me think for a second. Do I want that there? See how I've got glue here. Okay, so we've got, it's almost like we're stair-stepping around the arrangement and getting really pretty visual. Now I'm trying to figure out, where do I want this last bud to go? I think that one's good. Let me think, Julie, where you want it to go. I think I'm going to just drop it down in the center right here. All right, so we're going to take these leaves off. So if you could see around, see how it's just sort of placed around. And this is where I'm going to decide, okay, where is my front and where is my back? I like that as the front. All right, so we're going to put this one back here on this back side. Try not to hit the glue with all the grass. Okay, so all of our sunflowers are added. We can add in these leaves later, but right now we're going to move on to another greenery. What do you think? See the spacing, how important spacing is? I try to envision, I mean, you know, when anything grows in nature, it needs air circulation, and I don't know, I just like every flower to have its own attention. If I were to shove all of these in and they were all crammed together touching, you wouldn't see the individual beauty of each one. So each of these flowers has its own beauty, whether it be one that's opened fully that you can see the inside, or one that's a bud that hasn't quite opened up yet. So I really wanted to make an impact that each of these flowers has its own beauty that needs to be seen, and so I didn't want to overcrowd and pack it in there. Okay, so now we're moving on to this greenery. That's the fern that will be in the kit if you decide to get this one from Trendy Tree. Who decorates? Yeah, they are beautiful sunflowers. Beth, Wreath of the Month Club member, hoo-hoo, and Aaron, welcome. On YouTube, welcome. So here we have, thank you guys for your, who are answering questions that I'm missing. You guys are so awesome, y'all. I love our community. They've been with me for a while and they know what I'm doing. They almost could think before I do. So here is the next piece that's in our kit. Again, this is a kit brought to you by Trendy Tree for our viewers today, and I want to thank them. And we've got the link posted here on our Facebook Live as well as our YouTube Live. It's pinned under the comments. Just make sure you look at the comments and you can see it pinned. If you are new to the channel, welcome. I'm Julie Samako, owner of Southern Charm Wreaths. We're teaching you a floral arrangement. These are artificial. Now here is one that I have already taken the time to shape, and here is one that is not shaped. Okay, so remember, all of these are going to arrive to you in cellophane, and you're going to want to just give it a little bit of a bend. And typically the way I bend is I give it a quick hard bend one way and bend it back the other way, and then bend it back again, and then I go back and just soften the bend a little bit so it's not so much. But then when you do that, it just, you know, opens up the floral so much more. All right, here we're going to go ahead and start adding these. I'm going to go ahead and trim this back for now. These are not pushers, meaning you can't push these up and down. You have to just cut and trim where you need it to. All right, we're going to go ahead and start adding this greenery. So here, all I'm doing is trying to visualize a shape that I want to achieve on my arrangement. Okay, so we're just coming in just like that. So we've got, you can see how we've added that one piece of greenery divided, makes it really pretty. So here is, didn't I have another one? Here's another one that's somewhat short. We're going to go ahead and divide. Just don't be afraid to make cuts, okay? Don't be afraid to make cuts in your floral. So whatever we do on the right, one side, I'm going to turn it over and do it exactly the same on the back side. These are coming in, inserting at an angle so that pops the floral out slightly. Or the greenery, I should say. Okay, moving on to another piece. This one is a little long, so let's see if we need 3 cuts. I could keep this one slightly longer. I'm going to move it more in the center right here because it is a little longer. We want more length in the center of this arrangement, and then this greenery helps to bring that dark foliage green towards the center. So your eye is going to move from the out towards this center with our greenery. All right, so now I'm going to come to the back side right here, and we're going to start filling in right here with this one. Just like that. Let's do some more. I feel once we commit to our florals, everything else just seems to go smooth after that. Like we can easily figure out the greenery. Who decorates with cream colors in their home? That's such a popular trend, just keeping everything, you know, neutral. I know I do at home. We're always neutral. Even though I do a lot of color at work, when I go home, I want it to be neutral. We're going on the opposite side. So wherever you don't have some greenery, we're just going to incorporate that. I'm going to go ahead and go underneath the sunflower as well. Let me pull this down just a hair. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side over here. And I think we just need one more of this, and then we'll be done with this for now. Divide it and shape it. If you are trying to shape and you accidentally pull something off, don't worry. You can always put it back, and you always want to bend all of the pieces of your greenery as much as possible. Just give it a little fan effect with these. All right, so now I'm going to take a look at where I need a little greenery. I know I need some on this side. Got a little bit of a hole. So that filled in that. And then we're going to come over on the opposite side where we have a little hole. You see we've got a little hole right through there underneath that green leaf. Okay. And now at this point I want to look at all of it together. And I like the shape. So use that greenery to create your shape as well, or your form. And then do I want another greenery? I think we're good with the greenery. All right, so that's really pretty. Now you can see where our arrangement has kind of broken the leading edge of the container, and it's making it a lot larger. So now our centerpiece is larger. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to move on to our boxwood. This is a variegated boxwood. Again, I don't know, this one's see how it arrives flat, y'all, but man, give it some shape and it just comes to life. One of my favorites is the boxwood, especially this size, because it gives a lot of airiness to an arrangement or wreath. This is a pusher, so you could push these up and down if you want this to be very compact, or if you want it to be very long and airy. You just move it up and down. Here I'm going to give a little shape. Just want a little shape. I think I'm going to go ahead and take this off the bottom, and we're going to move this down, and we're going to move this down. And this is going to be in the center. All right, so just a little bend. This is where it feels like the operation game, where you're trying not to touch the sides or you're gonna get shocked. Well, here I'm trying not to touch all of the grasses with the glue. All right, so now we've got a little peekaboo up at the top, right, with our greenery. Now we're gonna just cut another little piece. I'm gonna get my wire cutters, trim this one a little shorter. Let's put this up. I like this because it's got some white, the variegation on it. It's a little white tip, which really blends beautifully with our sunflowers. This one is going to go on the opposite side of where we inserted this one. So we're going to go on the opposite side, but we don't want it the same plane. So we don't want it level. We want to drop it down so that our eye goes from the top down, okay? So you're always trying to, how can my eye flow through the arrangement? That always, if you're thinking of it that way, to me it helps to understand those principles and elements a little bit more. Exactly what we just teach inside of our Wreath of the Month Club. We have a whole course explaining to you the principles and elements of design. Let me just feed it through all of this greenery. And then make sure it gets fluffed. Some of the greenery gets tangled up with each other. Just take your time and move it, you know, spread it out. If your hand is a little on the heavy side like mine, it might smash things, so you're just gonna reposition everything. All right, so we've got a little greenery of that variegated right here. So you can see it's dropped down, it's not the same height. All right, and now we're moving on. Let's bring some down this way. So we've got that. Okay, we need a little down here. I'm just gonna go ahead and keep this that we've already trimmed and add it right down here. So now our greenery is going in that direction for that side. All right, and now at this point, I just look around and see where do I need a little of this variegated texture. The longer pieces are going to stay towards the center. And again, I'm looking at the plane, dropping it down just slightly. So we've got that piece here, and we're going to drop our eye all the way down and add another piece on that side. Right now, this is a little on the long side, but if I don't like it after everything's done, I can come back in with my wire cutters and just give it a little haircut. But for right now, we're gonna see if we like the long legginess of it. Looks really natural. We need a little more right through here. So all I'm gonna do is this piece that I've pulled off of one of my stems. I'm gonna put, you could put a wooden floral pick on, or I'm gonna put a steel pick on. We have instructions on how to use both wooden and steel pick on our website. So all I'm going to do is bring that in underneath that sunflower. So we have our creamy greenery right through here. All right, so now it's, do you see how we're looking at it and it's starting to blend because we've got it throughout the arrangement. All right, so now we're going to move on. Let's do a couple more pieces. I hope I'm explaining this well enough for everyone to follow along so that you can, if you do decide to get the kit, that you can have confidence knowing that you can do this. I think the most important piece that a lot of people have issues with is just remembering to keep it the airy look to it. That to me was one of the hardest things to grasp. When I was starting. All right, now we're coming over on this opposite side. So we're working on all sides. All right, so we've got a little greenery there. We're going to put this one right here through here. I think there's a time and a place for every style and arrangement, whether it be a roundy moundy or one that's a little bit more shaped and what do you call that? Vertical. So depending on where you want to place your arrangement. Now, is it going to be on an end table, or is it going to be on a coffee table, or is it going to be propped up on, say, a buffet beside a lamp and a statue or something? Or this one to me will look really beautiful on our piano. We have a piano that we have a piece of artwork over the top of the piano, but then we could put something a little bit more long or tall, I should say, on the side, and I think this would be really pretty. All right, so we're just moving this one over here. Okay. And I'm not putting the stem right at the edge of the foam. I move my insertion further deeper. So in other words, if I were to put this right on the edge of the foam, it would clearly be too long. So I don't want the length. I'm paying attention to the length that we already have established right through here. And so from here, I look and see where do I need to insert it in order to bring the tip in that it lines up and establishes our form or our line. All right, so now we're moving on to the back side or the other side. Actually, I think this is the front side. Looking for a longer piece. I think this will be a good one. We're just going to put in right above this floral. And I think some of it's too long, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut one of these back. I did forget to bend it, so let me try to bend it real quick. Okay, so we've got a little greenery right through here. We're going to cut one more. We're not sending text alerts out anymore for those just when we go live on our page, only to our customers and our groups, because we had to change text alert systems because they went up. They went up more than 10 times the price, and I was very shocked. And so, which I mean, it is what it is. I mean, this is the life we're living right now. And so, you just have to make a decision. So unfortunately, we can't do text alerts for Just Alive, only on in our paid groups. All right, so we've added that one right here. Okay, and I'm gonna see where I want this one. We're gonna move this one over on this side. And maybe this is one I show you. If I were to put it right through here, it would take the tip out really far. So I don't want to put it here. I want to move the insertion point closer to the center. And then that way it brings that tip in closer. And it also, with the greenery, helps to fill in the center area. All right, so now we're going to move and add some greenery under here. And this is the variegated I'm still working with. I never thought we would have used all of this greenery, wow, with the variegated tip. Thank you guys for sharing. That is so, that just helps my small business. I thank you so much for that. Okay, and then I'm going to cut a little bit more off of this one. Now this is a beautiful gift. All right, so let's say if you are not, you don't want this for your home, but you want to practice your arrangement design or arrangement skills, or you just love how it looks, why not make it and give it as a gift? So there's so many different ways you can learn to find your joy with the art of faux floral designing. I mean, it doesn't have to be, you know, sometimes we're like, well, we can only have so many wreaths or so many arrangements in our home, so why not give this as a gift? This would be perfect holiday gift, a home decor piece that you handmade, and it's an opportunity for you to practice your skills. I've got one more piece, y'all. We used this whole boxwood, which I was surprised. All right, so now moving around, I'm looking for where I need to add something, and I'm going to add it right through here. I think I see it. Oh, we've already done that. Okay, so that's all of the boxwood. The whole bush is trimmed off. All right, so we still have a few more pieces to add to our arrangement. What I'm going to do is drop this back a little bit. Hopefully it gets a little bit more on the camera. Wreath, you're beautiful, but you're distracting to people who are watching. All right, here we go. See, there we go. Pretty, pretty, pretty. All right, at this point, look at the larger pieces of greenery, which are our leaves, okay? So I'm looking to see where the leaves are in our arrangement and how can we disperse it a little bit more, okay? So we've got really pretty placement on some of them, but then we don't have a lot that are closer to the base. So all I'm gonna do is start inserting a little bit of this green into the base. These are our larger leaves. These are quality leaves. You can bend them and shape them. So I added this one here, and you could see that these are on different planes and they're just terracing downward. Okay, now we're going to work over on this side. So we've got one leaf here, one leaf here. Let's drop it down on this side, another leaf. Where's my wire cutters? This would be pretty for a wedding, a rustic wedding centerpiece. It would also be really pretty on the back, porch. If you've got a screened porch or something, putting the flowers that are artificial back there mixed in with your fresh. So you can see we had this one here. We've added that one over here just now. This one's another one that we added. So I'm trying to space these out. Don't want my eye to be focused on a lot of green. So we just probably need one, maybe two more. You could also keep these greenery pieces, leaves for other, if you want to, fill in on your wreaths or something like that. All right, we're gonna do this one over here. We've got one more bush from this kit to add, and it is our filler flower. Okay, so we've got a little green going on. Do you see the green leaves? Don't they just take your eye through the arrangement and around the arrangement? I like that. All right, and look at the grasses. Those are really pretty. I don't need necessarily any grass coming out this way because I like that it's tall. It takes my eye up. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to move into our filler flower, which is this stem or this bush. They're calling this feather reed grass. Doesn't look like grass to me. It looks like berries. Let's see. Let's cut this. I need length, so I'm just paying attention to how I'm going to cut this. All right, we can take this one shorter. I'm going to go ahead and take these off. I'm not a fan of these papery ones. They don't really bend. I don't know, it just doesn't, I don't know. I'm just not ever a fan of those. I always just take them off. All right, let's see if we can get some length on this one. I think we got it now. All right, so I just was trimming this in order to give it a little length, and we're gonna bend. All right, and you know where this is going, right? Right in the center. We're gonna come over on this side, I believe. Well, I should have measured it before I just put it in the glue. Yeah. And then make our way through all of the greenery. Okay, so we've got that on that side, and now we're going to do one somewhat shorter on the other side. All right, so there's that one, and then we've got that one a little bit lower. It's still not crowding our flowers. I like it. All right, and now what we're going to do is move some of these down through the arrangement, and I am going to trim. I don't want a big clump of white. I want a little peppering of the white. So we've got one here up high, move it down a little lower, and then we're going to put this one even lower down here. If you think there's something that's too long, just take your wire cutters and trim it out. Okay, so we've got a little white right there. This one's a little on the long side. I'm just going to trim it back. That's good, because I'm looking at my overall shape. And then I can add this individually. Bring our eye down with the white right there. We've added one right there. So now all I'm doing is just putting these in and dispersing that color throughout. And I would pay attention, like if I don't know if I'm going to have enough, pay attention to what you say is the front, because that is where you want it to be spot on pretty. Not to say that the back shouldn't be pretty too, but it doesn't have to be as pretty. So right now I'm just going to focus right here on this front side, making sure our white is added here. Who's going to give this a try? So we've got a lot of pretty white on the front side. And I made this the front because we have two of our buds facing forward. And then here is the back side. So now we can start to disperse some of the remaining florals on the back side. Okay, and I have one more that's we cut off or fell off. I'm just going to look on the bottom and see where I want to put that. We're going to have a little hole on this side, so let's add it. And when I say a hole, I don't mean I could see the foam. I mean we don't have any of the white representing. The white berries are not representing over here in this little corner. So let's add that. Where do I want it in the top? Let's go in the top. Let me redo it. See, if you don't like it, just take it out and redo it. Get all that glue out of there, that touch some of that stem, fluff it back in place, and then we're going to add it down here. Wow, wow, wow. Who is loving this as much as I am? Oh, Susan, in your office would be beautiful arrangement for your office. You guys, don't be afraid to do something and start. Take a chance. You just do not know when you do something out of your comfort zone how much more your life will be opened up to other possible opportunities. So you start making these in your home, people are going to want you to make them for them. So you could start selling them. You could donate these things to silent auctions, raise money for charity of your, of your choosing. You could give these away for gifts for the holidays, or to somebody who's in the nursing home, or maybe they're in the hospital and maybe they're going through a tough time. Maybe they've lost a pet or a loved one and they just need a little pick-me-up. So don't be afraid with flowers, all right? Moving through fear with your florals is so rewarding. It gives you purpose in life. It has me. And I just appreciate you letting me serve you in this way, in this capacity, with faux florals. I hope you try this. Thanks again to Trendy Tree for supplying our followers and viewers with a kit in order to duplicate this exact arrangement. And if you have any questions, comment below. If you'd like this information and you want to do more of it, join us in our Wreath Making of the Month Club group. It's learn2wreath.com, learn2wreath.com, learn-to wreath.com, and we'd be honored to have you when we open up our doors in a couple of weeks, okay? Thank you all so much for joining me. We've got Instagram over here. How do you like it? Do you love it? I love it. Thank you, Laddie. Thank you, everyone, for the hearts. First time watching, Georgie, thank you for watching. Make sure to give us a follow so that you see the next time we do a live. Thank you guys over here on YouTube. Please make sure to give us a subscribe and a thumbs up so that you're notified the next time we do a live or upload a video. I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your day. And here is the whole one around. Let's see. just all the way around. It just looks really pretty. Let's see if we can fix that sunflower petal a little bit more. I'll see